Chapter 1, Section 6, The Nature of Truth in Islam. When it comes to understanding Islam, few obstacles are more persistent or less acknowledged than the difference in how key concepts are defined. Chief among these is the word truth. In the West, truth is something pursued. It is tested, debated, refined. It rests on evidence, shaped by reason, and remains open to revision. But in Islam, truth is not discovered through inquiry. It is revealed, fixed, absolute, and derived from the will of Allah as conveyed through Sharia. One of the 99 names of Allah in Islam is Al-Haq, the truth. The word appears throughout Islamic texts not to describe observable reality or rational deduction, but to equate truth with Islam itself, Quran 9:33. One does not debate the truth, one submits to it. In Western usage, fighting for the truth might suggest defending justice or uncovering facts. In Islam, it means enforcing what has already been revealed. Hadith such as a group of my ummah will continue to fight for the truth, Dawood 24:84, do not refer to moral resistance or free inquiry. They refer to those who fight to uphold Islam, the exclusive truth revealed by Allah. Quran 9:29 leaves no doubt. Fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day and do not consider unlawful what Allah and his messenger have made unlawful and do not adopt the religion of truth, Sharia, from among those who were given the scripture until they pay the jizya out of hand while they are humbled, unquote. Here, truth isn't an ideal to strive for. It is a legal system. It's Sharia, and it governs everything from personal hygiene to statecraft. This truth isn't open to question or change. It isn't measured by logic or common sense. It is anchored in what Muhammad said and did, preserved in the Quran and Sunnah. It even allows for deception if that deception is deemed to serve Islam. Take King Charles' ill-conceived Ramadan message. He quoted part of Quran 2:286, just the beginning. Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. To Western ears, it sounds gentle, a promise of divine fairness. But in Islamic doctrine, this verse is used to justify strict punishments. Islamic penalties such as amputation, flogging, or execution for apostasy are never considered unjust because Allah ensures no one is burdened beyond their capacity. Women must accept polygamy, lesser inheritance, and legal inequality. If it were unbearable, Allah wouldn't have decreed it. Likewise, jihad and martyrdom are presented as bearable obligations because Allah does not burden a soul beyond its ability. What Charles left out was the final portion of that verse. Our master, so give us victory over the disbelieving people, unquote. This is not a call for peace or mutual understanding. It is a plea for conquest. Omitting it changes the meaning entirely, and yet this kind of selective quoting happens often, designed to give non-Muslims a softened view of Islam, stripped of its doctrinal demands. This isn't just about what is said, it's about what is not said. In Islam, truth is about acceptance, not exploration. Suffering isn't unjust, it's a test. And questioning what Allah has revealed is itself a form of disbelief, one for which people are often tortured or killed. This idea comes up again in a treatise on disputation, an argument where the author, Mr. Chowdhury, writes the truth must always be served and delivered with the loftiest and sublime character, unquote, but then makes clear that some truths are simply off limits. Quote, one should not debate with a non-believer about the branches of the Sharia because he does not believe in their basis. One should not debate with or argue with him about marriage to 4 wives, testimony of women, the jizya, inheritance, prohibition of alcohol, and other such rulings, unquote. These are revealed truths. They are not up for discussion. And because Sharia covers virtually every aspect of life, even how to brush your teeth with a miswak, truth in Islam becomes a matter of behavior. If it conforms to Sharia, it is good. If not, it is bad. The logic behind this is spelled out clearly in Reliance of the Traveler. The good of the acts of those morally responsible is what lawgiver, synonym Allah or his messenger, has indicated is good. by permitting it or asking that it be done. And the bad is what the lawgiver has indicated is bad by asking it not be done. The good is not what reason considers good, nor the bad what reason considers bad. The measure of good and bad is the sacred law, not reason, unquote. This is why so many Western efforts at interfaith dialogue accomplish little more than a pleasant afternoon outing. The same words are used: justice, truth, peace, but the meanings are entirely different. And in many cases, the ambiguity is deliberate. Here's an example from an Islamic scholar's Q&A. Question: when is deliberate ambiguity valid? If that is in cases of necessity only, then what is the definition of necessity in this case? Answer: Quran 726. With regard to the meaning of Sharia, religious terminology, it refers to someone who says something that may appear to have one meaning to the listener, but the speaker intends something different that may be understood from those words. Deliberate ambiguity is permissible if it is necessary or if it serves a Sharia interest. Al-Nawawi said, the scholar said, if that is needed to serve some legitimate Sharia interest that outweighs the concern about misleading the person to whom you are speaking, or it is needed for a reason that cannot be achieved without lying, then there is nothing wrong with using deliberate ambiguity as an acceptable alternative. Imam Bukhari, entitled a chapter of his Sahih, "Indirect Speech is a Safe Way to Avoid a Lie," and Reliance the Traveler echoes that. It says one should compare the bad consequences entailed by lying to those entailed by telling the truth. And if the consequences of telling the truth are more damaging, one is entitled to lie. Bad consequences in this context would include anything that harms Islam or weakens its position. Consequences of confusion when the West misunderstands truth. It is worth noting that the Islamic Q&A receives between 8 and 15 million visits monthly and draws a large global audience with sizable traffic from the US, UK, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Canada. This further illustrates that Islam doesn't change just because it crosses a border into Western territory. That Islamic religious leaders and scholars openly condone deceit for religious interests is a stark contrast to Western conceptions of truth and honesty. In the West, truth is a process. It is tested, challenged, and when necessary, corrected. Saying this is the truth invites scrutiny. The conception of truth underpins Western legal systems, journalism, education, and public discourse, and it sets the stage for profound confusion when engaging with Islamic thought. Once something has been revealed by Allah or his messenger, it is final. The key texts make this clear. Quran 33:36. It is not for a believing man or woman when Allah and his messenger have decided a matter to have any choice in their affair. Quran 9:33. It is he, Allah, who sent his messenger, Muhammad, with guidance and the religion of truth to prevail over all other religions. Hadith. A group of my ummah will continue to fight for the truth until the last of them fights the Antichrist. Dawood 24:84. Quran 5:44. And whoever does not judge by what Allah has revealed, then it is those who are the disbelievers, the Kafirun. This rigidity spills over into concepts like justice and peace. When Muslims say Islam is peace or there is no compulsion in religion, Westerners hear liberty and harmony when the reverse is true. Quran 2:256, no compulsion in religion, is often cited, but was superseded by verses commanding jihad. Apostasy carries the death penalty, from the Reliance of the Traveler 087. Justice means applying Sharia, not equality or fairness in the Western sense. That includes death for apostates, since it is killing someone who deserves to die, according to Sharia. And peace means the absence of resistance to Islam. Quran 8:39 and 9:29. This creates plausible deniability. The Muslim speaker knows the doctrinal meaning. The Western listener hears something else entirely, and it's dangerous. Interfaith participants assume shared values. Al-Fatiha, the first chapter of the Quran, is often said in Arabic at interfaith events used for dawah. The prayer is only 7 verses long and is recited 17 times a day by devout Muslims, twice at dawn, 4 times each at noon, afternoon, and night, and another 3 times at sunset. Each time it ends by referring specifically to Jews and Christians and asks for Allah's guidance. Quran 1:6-7. Guide us to the straight path, the way of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, not the way of those who earned your anger, such as the Jews, nor of those who went astray, such as the Christians. This is the Khan translation, which provides commentary. Said in Arabic, or without knowledge, it appears inclusive, but in fact, it reinforces Islamic separation from and condemnation of both Jews and Christians. This is made explicit in the Halali Khan translation and the tafsir of Ibn Kafir. Politicians like King Charles promote Islamic messages, assuming they align with or even surpass the Western concept of human rights. Journalists and media censor criticism of Islam, falsely assuming it aligns with liberal values. What they fail to recognize is that these terms carry entirely different meanings under Sharia, and those meanings are binding, not optional. Most concerning, this disconnect makes Islamic doctrine seem harmless when it is supremacist. The audience drops its guard, convinced they've found common ground when they haven't. Governments cannot regulate what they do not understand. People cannot engage with the system when they do not share a definition of truth and do not realize that they don't. Sharia councils, for example, are presented as religious guidance, but they operate under a fixed and absolute legal framework. Western institutions built on pluralism and procedural fairness don't see the danger, and so the system grows, thriving in a moral vacuum. Indeed, the worst of living creatures is in the sight of Allah are the deaf and dumb, those who do not understand. Quran 8:22. That is how the Kafir is viewed, incapable of understanding, useful only to the extent they submit or can be manipulated to serve the goals of Islam. So when someone speaks of the truth, the critical and often overlooked question is what kind of truth is meant, one grounded in Western traditions of inquiry or one defined by religious authority. In Islam, truth isn't something discovered, it is something to which one submits.